Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a very special video. This is my magical Hopathon announcement video. In today's video, you'll leave today, enter a world of yesterday, fantasy and tomorrow. Oh my god guys, it's finally here and I have to bring Stitch into the intro. He will be placed up on my bed because he is huge, he can't actually fit in frame, but I thought it was very fitting for him to join us because I know so many of you like Stitch in the background of my videos and this is a Disney themed video, so I had to bring him down on stage for you guys. I'm so excited to announce my readathon. It's pretty epic and I cannot wait to share all the details with you, so let's just get started. Right Stitch, you can sit up here. Oh, there we go. You can be part of the video and sit there, stay. So you guys know I've been giving some sneak peeks here and there over the last couple of weeks, but today is finally the day where you're going to find out everything you need to know about the magical Hopathon. I'm so excited to share everything with you and let's just get into it. I guess the first question is, what is it? Magical Hopathon is a month-long readathon starting from October 1st, so a couple of weeks away, running all the way through to October 31st. I'm creating this readathon, or I created this readathon to celebrate Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. Walt Disney World opened on October 1st, 1971, so if you do the maths, it turns 50 on October 1st, 2021, which is why I've decided to host this readathon across the month of October. I've been lucky enough to visit Walt Disney World pretty much annually ever since I was a very young little girl. I went to Walt Disney World for the first time in 2000 when I was just 3 years old, when my parents said this was going to be a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful that that once-in-a-lifetime trip turned into pretty much an annual family holiday. It has such a hold on my heart because it's where I grew up, it's where I spent most of my childhood, and I'm so thankful for that. But because of that, I am so upset that I cannot spend the 50th anniversary like I always dreamed in Walt Disney World itself. So I've had to combine my two favourite passions, books and Disney, to create this magical Hopathon, and I really hope you guys will enjoy what I've created and what I've come up with. So what is the aim of this readathon? Basically, the magical Hopathon aim is to travel across the Walt Disney World Resort. Walt Disney World consists of 4 main theme parks: Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, my personal favourite because that's where I spent my Disney college programme, Epcot and Hollywood Studios. The aim of this readathon is to hop between all 4, hence the name, the magical Hopathon, and try and complete as many parks as possible, reading books and completing prompts as you go. That's kind of like the main aim, but I made this readathon as kind of inspired by the build your own adventure style storyline. So this readathon is adaptable to your reading tastes and your reading goals for the month. It's a really flexible readathon, even though it is centered around Walt Disney World. I hope anyone can kind of participate if they so wish to. So although the main aim of this readathon and have like a successful readathon is to go to all 4 parks, to take part is just to go to as many parks as possible. If you just want to focus on one park, that's brilliant. If you only want to focus on Epcot, amazing. Whatever you want to do, you can take part in this readathon, but like my personal goal to myself is to go to all 4 parks. So how will it work? Well, if you've been on my social media for the magical Hopathon, because there is a separate Twitter, if you want to follow that for further updates and obviously activity during the month of the readathon, make sure you follow it down below. I'll leave the link to it down below so it's easily accessible for you guys. But the kind of how it works is we all need a park entry ticket. If you don't get a park entry ticket, you cannot enter the parks. It's just realistic. And just as a pre-warn, I'm making this readathon as realistic as possible. So you have to get a park ticket, and to get a park ticket, you will need to read a book to complete a prompt, and that prompt depends on which park you want to start at. I will go into full depth on the prompts in a little bit, but I just want to get like the main aim and how it works out of the way, and then we can go into the really fun bits of all the prompts for all the snacks, all the rides, all the shows. Oh, Walt Disney World is just the most magical place on earth. Please note that this park entrance prompt has to be completed before you can move on with the rest of the readathon. Like I said, and I'm just going to reiterate it, I'm making this readathon as realistic as possible, so therefore without having completed that prompt, you cannot enter the rest of the park to complete the rest of the prompts because it's literally acting as your park entry ticket. Once you're inside your chosen park location, you are free to do the prompt in any order you so wish. There are 3 categories to choose from each park location: an attractions prompt, a snack prompt, and a show prompt. But I've created a major list of prompts here for this readathon, but you only need to complete 1 prompt from each category. So an attractions prompt, a snack prompt, and a show prompt from each park location. I hope that makes sense. There'll be access to the graphics that I show in this video down below in a Google Drive if you want to look over it and make your TBR and all that sort of stuff. They're all there, easily accessible for you guys to have a look at after this video has finished. However, you must complete those 3 prompts within that 1 park before you can move on to another park location. This is really crucial because I'm making this readathon as realistic as possible. I'm actually thinking about when I'm in Walt Disney World what is actually achievable, and you can't grab a snack from Magic Kingdom, hop over to Hollywood Studios, ride a ride, and then go to Epcot and watch a show. And like, it's just not feasible. Like, Walt Disney World is big, it's 2 Manhattans put together, it's a huge space, and the parks are far away from each other. Basically, it can either take up to a 10-minute monorail or a half-hour Disney bus to get from location, so it's just not feasible to like hop between parks. So therefore, once you've chosen a park, you have to stay in that park and complete those 3 prompts before you can move on. And then you will continue to do this until the month is up. Whether you've managed to do 1 park, 2 parks, 3 parks, or the full 4 parks, you have had a successful readathon. This readathon is obviously as adaptable as you want to make it. It's completely up to you, hence the choose your own adventure, because you're choosing your starting parks, what prompts you want to complete within those parks, and then where to go to next, etc. So it's a really adaptable readathon, and I'm so excited to have made it that way, because it's basically to just build your dream Disney day. Whether you've been to Walt Disney World before and you know what your favourite rides are, you know what you want to eat, or whether you haven't been to Walt Disney World before and you want to kind of imagine creating your dream Walt Disney World day, this readathon is for you, because that's what you can do, because you get to pick your attractions prompt, you get to pick your snack prompt, you get to pick your show prompt, and you get to build your dream Walt Disney World day from reading books and completing prompts, which I'm so excited for. Now you know how it's going to work, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the rules. Yes, there are some rules, because like I keep saying, I have created this readathon to make it as realistic as possible to a true Walt Disney World vacation, so therefore there are some rules you need to follow. The first one is of course something I have already mentioned, and that is to make sure that you read your park entrance prompt book as the first book you start, and it must be the first book you finish. This is really crucial because it's literally acting as your park entry ticket. Just so then you have gained and unlocked access to your park entrance ticket, and therefore you can hop between the rest of the resort. Once inside your chosen park, you can then complete your prompts in any order. Once again, you only need to complete 3 prompts from each park: 1 attractions prompt, 1 show prompt, and 1 snack prompt. You can do these in any order you so wish, but these must be completed before you move on to your next park. If you decide to do multiple parks within the month for this readathon, you do not need to read the park entry prompt for each park you visit, just the park you start at. One we've already mentioned, but I just want to reiterate once again, you cannot hop between parks, so you must complete the 3 prompts, the attraction prompt, the show prompt, and the snack prompt before moving on to a different park location. Therefore, if I want to start at Magic Kingdom, I will need to read a fantasy or magical realism book before I then complete the 3 prompts within that park. Once I've completed those 3 prompts and all those books are finished, I can then decide to pick between Epcot, Animal Kingdom, or Hollywood Studios as my next park location, and then I can go to one of those and complete the 3 prompts within that park, so on and so forth until as many parks are completed or you've completed all 4 of the parks. You can DNF books if you so wish. I am accepting DNFs in this readathon as counted books and calling them successful, because in Walt Disney World, if you get into a line, aka doing an attractions prompt, and you realise halfway through the line that the line is too long and you just want to walk out of it, you can completely do that in Walt Disney World, so therefore that's counting as a DNF to an attractions prompt. If you want to DNF a book for a snack prompt, you can be like, oh, I've tried this Dole Whip and I don't want to eat it anymore, don't like it, I can throw it in the trash bin. You can also do that, aka DNFing a book for the snack prompt, and this can also be done across the entire park. You can do it with the show prompt, I don't judge, but if you want to walk out the show, aka DNF a book, you can totally do that for the show prompt as well. You can obviously then pick a new book if you so wish to complete that same prompt or a different prompt within that category, but if you do just want to side pass it and say that book isn't for you and to move on to another prompt, that is totally doable as well. However, this is major here, this is probably one of the biggest rules. You cannot double up on prompts because, like I keep saying, say it with me, I'm making this readathon as realistic as possible, and therefore it's not physically possible to go on Rock and Roller Coaster with a launch of 60 miles per hour, eat a little Dole Whip in your seat with your harness down, are you envisioning this with me, and watch the Beauty and the Beast show musical. Like, it's physically not possible. So therefore in this readathon you cannot double up on prompts. It's just something that I've made a rule because I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible. So that's why it's this readathon's kind of as flexible as you would like it to be. If you just want to focus on one park because you don't think you're going to be able to read more than 4 books this month, then absolutely fine, just focus on one park. But if you really want to challenge yourself and go to all 4 parks, that does mean reading 12 books to complete the 4 parks, and then add on your park entry prompt. That is 13 books in total if you want to do the hardcore edition and visit all 4 parks. I will be personally doing all 4 parks because it is my readathon and I want to challenge myself. I haven't read that amount of books at all this year, so this is definitely the month to do so if I'm ever going to do it, and I cannot wait to try. So this readathon is obviously completely up to you on how many books you would like to complete, but just let you know you cannot double up on prompts. However, just to backtrack a little bit, there is one exception to the doubling up rule, and that is that you can double up. Now hear me out, hear me out. In Walt Disney World, one of my favourite things to do is get an ice cream at ice cream parlour at the corner of Main Street, USA, and go on the hub grass and watch Mickey's Friendship Fair. That is a snack prompt and that is a show prompt. You can double up. You can double up on show prompts and snack prompts. You can combine them 2 together because you can eat a snack and watch a show at the same time. However, this can only be done within the same park. So like I just mentioned, you can do Mickey's Friendship Fair as a show prompt and get an ice cream from the ice cream parlour as a snack prompt within Magic Kingdom and double up those 2 prompts. And then you can do that at Hollywood Studios with Batu-Milk and watching Indiana Jones, because they're a show prompt and a snack prompt within Hollywood Studios, etc, etc. So you can't take a Magic Kingdom snack and a Hollywood Studios show. That doesn't work. But if you're within the same park, the show and snack prompt can be doubled up. Those are all the rules. Now I've just given you a little bit of a sneak peek into all of the prompts. So let's just get into every single prompt I have done for this readathon. There is a lot, and I have spent a lot of time on the prompts because I have a backstory for pretty much all of them. So get comfy, get into a cozy position, grab some water like myself because I'm talking a lot. And let's get into the really exciting thing of the prompts. We've got to start with Magic Kingdom. She is the one that is turning 50 years old. Although the entire resort is turning 50, Magic Kingdom is the only park open on actual opening day on October 1st, 1971. So let's start in Magic Kingdom, the Queen Bee. There are going to be 5 attraction prompts, 4 snack prompts, and 3 show prompts to choose between each park. Once again, just to reiterate, you only need to pick 1 prompt from each category within each park. So you only need to do 1 attraction prompt, 1 show prompt and 1 snack prompt from each park location. I've made a really big list of prompts just so you have the flexibility and the option to just pick between loads of different prompts and the prompts that will suit you best for your reading in October, because I do realise it is spooky season, but it's Walt Disney's fault for opening Magic Kingdom in October. That's not my fault. And I just have to do this readathon in this month for that reason only. So yes, it is the spookiest season, but there are definitely prompts in there that you can fit to your spooky reads and your thrilling books for the month of October. So without that little ramble, let's get into Magic Kingdom's prompts. I will put the prompts on the screen so you can see them with me. So the park entrance prompt for the Magic Kingdom, like I've previously mentioned, is to read a fantasy or magical realism book. The first attraction, I couldn't not do Space Mountain, and that is to read a book with space themes, whether that is sci-fi, a book about going to space, or a book set in space, or just a general sci-fi. That is the prompt for Space Mountain. The next prompt is the Carousel of Progress. I couldn't not put this attraction in for one of the prompts because it is the last ride in Walt Disney World that Walt Disney had a say in and helped create. So therefore the prompt for that ride is to read a book by your favourite author, because Walt Disney is one of my favourite people on this planet. I just wish I was born earlier, that I had a chance to meet him, that I was there for opening day in Walt Disney World, but I can make a whole video on the fact that I wish I was born in the 70s just so I could go to Walt Disney World when it opened, but it's fine. But that is the prompt for Carousel of Progress. The next one is the Haunted Mansion, a classic Disney ride across every single resort around the world, and that prompt is to read a spooky book. See, I told you, you'll be able to put your spooky books in somewhere. The next attraction you can pick between is It's a Small World, and that is to read a book with different cultural representation information to yourself. Just because It's a Small World is a boat ride that travels around the world and you see loads of different animatronics across the different countries of the world, and it's a really diverse ride, so therefore I wanted to make this prompt diverse. And then the last attraction prompt in the Magic Kingdom is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and that is to read a book with multiple perspectives, because obviously there are 7 dwarves. There doesn't have to be 7 perspectives, but just multiple, more than one perspective in this book to complete that prompt. And just a reminder, you only need to complete 1 prompt from that little category. And then the next category in Magic Kingdom are these snacks. Disney are known for such iconic snacks, and here I'm just doing a small list of them. There are so many I could have picked, but I'm just trying to do like the classic ones. And the first one is the Dole Whip, which I think is universally one of Disney's most classic snacks, and for that you have to read a booktube favourite, because in the Disney community is a Dole Whip really hyped, therefore in the book community you have to read a book that's really hyped, so to read a booktube favourite. The next one is LeFou's Brew, and this isn't as hyped as the Dole Whip, so therefore you have to read a book that you think will be overrated, because a lot of people think it's just a really overrated drink and it's just there to cash in. So complete LeFou Brew's prompt is to read an overrated book. And then we've got the Cheshire Cat Tail, which is an amazing chocolate twisted croissant with purple and pink icing over the top to mimic the Cheshire Cat's tail in Alice in Wonderland. And that is to read a book with a sweet romance, because obviously it's a very sweet treat. And then the last snack prompt we have for Magic Kingdom is Corn Dog Nuggets, another Disney classic. And they're like little small stubby things. They're like battered sausages, but they're tiny. So for the prompt for this snack is to read a book that's less than 200 pages. And then finally we're on to the Magic Kingdom shows, and the first one is Happily Ever After. I couldn't not put this in as a prompt. It's the most amazing fireworks show you could ever imagine watching, and for that is to read an anticipated release, because every time I go to Magic Kingdom all I want to do is watch Happily Ever After, but I have to wait the entire day and do all my other fun favourite things in the park before I can watch it, so therefore it's an anticipated watch, and therefore you have to read an anticipated release. The next show is Mickey's Friendship Fair, and that is to read a book that is centred around friendship, because obviously as the title suggests, this castle show is all about Mickey's friends and all the friends he makes along the way. And then the Festival of Fantasy is the 3 o'clock parade in Walt Disney World, and the prompt for this show is to read a book, any book. Obviously it just has to be a separate book if you do wish to complete this prompt, and that's to start the book at 3 p.m. And this is because if you haven't been to Walt Disney World, I'll explain the joke. It might not be very funny to you, but basically it's called the 3 o'clock parade, okay? And even guests still continue to go up to cast members and be like, what time is the parade on? And they're like, 3 o'clock, even though it's called the 3 o'clock parade. So therefore I thought it'd be quite fun to have a prompt in there where you have to read a book, reading at least the first page. Whether you sit down and read that book for longer after that 3 p.m. strikes, that's fine, but you at least have to read the first sentence at 3 p.m. just as the parade starts. And that is the Magic Kingdom prompts. Where do you want to go to next? I think we should hit up Animal Kingdom. The park entrance ticket prompt for Animal Kingdom is to read a book that involves nature in some way, whether that is the plot, the title of the book has some sort of nature element in it, so Leaves, House of Leaves, or like Wilder Girls, etc. Or whether the cover design has some sort of nature elements on it as well, so leaves, trees, plants, animals, sea life, etc. Anything nature related, whether that's the plot, the cover design, or the title, can fit the park entrance prompt for Animal Kingdom. So the first attraction prompt for Animal Kingdom is Flight of Passage, and this is my favourite ride in Walt Disney World, hands down, nothing can beat it. So for that, it's the prompt to read a 5-star prediction. The next attraction in Animal Kingdom is Expedition Everest, and that is to read an intimidating book because the mountain is big. Some of the prompts are pretty basic, but it's fine, it's fine. The next attraction is Dinosaur, and that is to read a book that features time travel. One Last Stop, for example, by Casey Quiston, that could fit for this prompt, but any book that features time travel in some way. The next attraction is Kilimanjaro Safaris, and if you haven't been to Walt Disney World, this is basically what it says. It's a safari around Animal Kingdom's conservation reserve, so you can see animals such as giraffes, elephants, lions, all sorts, monkeys, spotted dogs, I don't know, there's a whole range of animals. So for this attraction, the prompt is to read a book that features a road trip or some way, or a book that travels across multiple locations. And the last attraction in Animal Kingdom is the animation class, and this is where Disney cast members or Disney animators come in and teach you how to draw some of the iconic Disney characters. So therefore, the prompt to complete this attraction is to read a manga or graphic novel or comic, something artsy with illustrations. These snacks within Animal Kingdom, the first one is the Mickey pretzel, and just as a little story time, on my college program, the amount of times I would come into my shift and I didn't have a job assigned to me and they would just make me chisel away defrosted Mickey pretzels was too many to count. So I had to put this snack into Animal Kingdom, and that is to read a comfort book, just because it is one of the most iconic Disney snacks and it's just warm and gooey and you can get it with cheese sauce and it's carbs and cheese and it's just comfort. So you have to read a comfort book. The next snack for Animal Kingdom is the Night Blossom, and this is a drink that is designated into the land of Pandora, which is the land of Avatar, and it's Instagram worthy. This drink is stunning and they clearly made it to allow people to take pictures of it for Instagram, so therefore you have to read a book that is Instagram worthy. The next snack for Animal Kingdom is Jungle Juice, and this is a non-alcoholic beverage that you can get at a lot of buffets within the sort of Animal Kingdom area, and it's to die for. It's basically mango, orange and pineapple juice all mixed together, and it's incredible, but therefore because it has no alcoholic contents in it, you have to read a middle grade. And the last snack in Animal Kingdom, once again we're revisiting Pandora, and that is the cheeseburger pods. And for me, this is a weird combination because you're mixing American food cuisine with more like Asian food cuisine, so therefore you have to read a book across multiple genres, whether that is a kind of fantasy romance or an urban fantasy or something like that. A book that kind of mixes two genres, or if you can't find a book that mixes two genres, you can read a book across multiple formats. So for me, one of my favorite ways to read books is to listen to an audiobook and follow along in the physical text as well. So that is an option for this prompt. So those are all the snack prompts that you can pick between in Animal Kingdom. And then quickly, the shows in Animal Kingdom. The first one is Nemo the Musical. It's an incredible, incredible show. If you've seen The Lion King in the West End, it's similar to that in the way that they use the puppets, etc. But my god, the chairs are uncomfortable. So therefore, for this show, you have to read a book that's outside your comfort zone. But that can be the genre, the size of the book, the format of the book, etc. Like anything that you feel is outside your comfort zone. For me, that would be a book that's over 400 pages, or it could be a magical realism book, or it could just be audiobooks, because I don't tend to read audiobooks very often. So anything that you class as outside your comfort zone, it doesn't have to be genre.
Yes, I did forget to mention Rivers of Light, which is the second show you can pick between Animal Kingdom, which is to read a book with a beautiful cover, because the nighttime spectacular Animal Kingdom is absolutely stunning. And the last show, Animal Kingdom, that you can pick between is the Festival of the Lion King, which is an iconic Disney show and has been around since as long as I can remember. And obviously I've been going to Walt Disney World since the year 2000. So for this show, you have to read a book that is a TBR vet.
Now let's head over to Hollywood Studios, and for the park entrance prompt for this park, if you so wish to start with this park or choose this park as your main focus, and that is to read a book that has or is about to hit the silver screen. So basically a book to movie adaptation. It doesn't have to be a movie that's already out. You could just know about it and about to be adapted. That's absolutely fine. aka you could read Heartstopper, for example, just to fit a quick book in there. And the first attraction within Hollywood Studios is, of course, Rock and Roller Coaster. Hey! And that is to read a thrilling or fast-paced book. That is whether a book that you think is going to be quick to get through, or it can obviously be like a thriller or something like that. The next attraction is one of Hollywood Studios' newest attractions, and that's Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway. Always a tongue twister, but because it's one of Disney World's newest attractions, it's to read a new release. It doesn't have to be a 2021 release, it can be a 2020 release. That is also fine. Just like a newish book, because the attraction is newish. Just pick a newish book. The next one is Star Tours, and that is a book that's going to take you out of this world. If you choose this prompt is very much up to interpretation, so make it your own. The next attraction is Toy Story Mania, one of my favorite rides ever. Oh, it's so good. But the prompt for that attraction is to read a book that involves a main character that isn't human. As you know, Toy Story is all about toys that come to life, therefore they aren't human. So the prompt is to read a book that has a non-human main character, or a character that is non-human that is heavily involved. For me, that could be A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman, because Uwe has a side character that has a little cat, and he's very much a prominent part of the story, but he isn't like the main character. So it could be anything along those lines. And then I couldn't leave out the iconic statue that is Tower of Terror. And the prompt for Tower of Terror is to read a book with a plot-driven storyline, and this is because if you haven't been to Walt Disney World, when cast members are assigned to Tower of Terror, they absolutely love it because they get to tell a story about how the tower came to be kind of electrified and horror and spooky and all that sort of stuff, and they really make the ride come to life in how they story tell across the like queue line and as they put people into the carriages, etc. So you have to read a book that is heavily plot driven. The snacks in Hollywood Studios, the first one is like the iconic blue and green milk from Batuu in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And the prompt to complete the Batuu milk is to read a book that you thought was overpriced but you brought it anyway. And that is because, in my personal opinion, Batuu milk is very overrated and very overpriced. So read a book that you spent way too much money on but you did it anyway because either it was pretty or it was a special edition that you wanted, etc, etc. The next snack prompt in Hollywood Studios is the Ronto wrap. There's like a food bar in Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge, and they do kind of quite niche out of this world snacks, and one of them is a Ronto wrap, and it's absolutely incredible, but it's not like typical Disney food. Typical Disney food are like milkshakes, ice creams, burgers, chips, chicken nuggets, etc. So it's quite unusual for them to go this far out. So therefore the prompt to complete the Ronto wrap is to read a book outside your typical genre. The next snack is the Num Num cookie, and this is inspired by the Incredibles movie, and it's a huge cookie. I will insert footage here because it is massive.
Are you enjoying it?
Not anymore, it fell on the floor.
And therefore, because you kind of need two people to eat this cookie, the prompt is to do a buddy read. So it can be for any book, you just have to read it along with someone else, aka you're sharing the cookie. And the last snack prompt for Hollywood Studios is the carrot cake cookie. Now this is a chunky boy. It has cream cheese frosting in the middle with big whopping slices of carrot cake on either side, basically like a big ice cream sandwich, but carrot cake edition. It is once again huge. But for this snack, it's the prompt to read a book that's over 400 pages, so a chunky book. Read a chunky book, read a big book. That's all you have to do, simple. And then the shows in Hollywood Studios, the first one is Phantasmic, and that is to read a book with a show-stopping cover because it is the nighttime spectacular in Hollywood Studios. The next one is Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, and I feel bad, I feel like I'm digging at this show, and that is because the prompt is to read a book that you keep putting off because it's there in Hollywood Studios, it has a home, but do you really ever do it? No, it's just kind of there. So pick a book that's been on your TBR for a while, it's been there, you should probably get to it, but you never feel inclined to, so read a book that you keep putting off. And the last show for Hollywood Studios is Beauty and the Beast, and that is to read a retelling just because Beauty and the Beast is obviously a movie, it was a book, and now it's a live stage show in Hollywood Studios, so therefore you have to read a retelling. So last but definitely not least, that is Epcot, and Epcot was the second park that opened in the Walt Disney World Resort after Magic Kingdom. And if you didn't know, to give a little bit of context for these prompts, the back of Epcot is something called the World Showcase. If you haven't been to Walt Disney World or you haven't been to Epcot, this massive World Showcase has loads of different pavilions representing loads of different countries around the world. So to enter Epcot and complete the prompt for the park entrance ticket, you have to read a book that's been translated from your native language, whether it's been a book that's translated from Japanese to English, Spanish to English, Spanish to German. You get the gist, just to read a book that's been translated. And then once you're inside Epcot, the first attraction prompt is Soaring, and that is to read a book with a swoon-worthy main character. Once again, a prompt that's up for interpretation. Whatever is swoon-worthy to you, you count it, that's fine, I trust you. The next attraction prompt is Test Track, and that is to read once again a fast-paced thrilling book because Test Track is about you build your own car and then you go on this really fast like track to test how fast it can go, and you can go really, really fast. So to read a thrilling and fast-paced book for Test Track. The next ride we are doing in Epcot is Frozen, and that is to read a hyped book because Frozen, although just a little kiddie boat ride, it is very, very hyped. It's a fan favourite within the Disney community. So for the Frozen ride, you will need to read a hyped book. The next attraction in Epcot is Living with the Land, and this is once again another boat ride all about like how Disney source their own food and stuff, and they have like greenhouses and you go on like a little tour. It's very cute, but it's not popular. Like, it's not very popular, and therefore it never had much of a wait time, so therefore you'll have to read a book that's less than 200 pages because obviously the queue is quite short, so therefore your book can be short. The last but not least attraction prompt for this readathon is Spaceship Earth, the queen beauty of Epcot, the massive golf ball you see in the sky. If you type in Epcot, the golf ball will come up. That is Spaceship Earth, and it's basically all about time travel and going back in time and seeing how kind of the world we live in now has come to be, so therefore you need to read a historical fiction. Now, like I mentioned earlier, in Epcot there is something called the World Showcase, and there are loads of different pavilions that represent loads of different countries around the world. So when it comes to the snack prompt in this park, all you need to do is read a translated work of fiction, and those countries are Mexico, Norway, China, Germany, Japan, Italy, America, Morocco, France, Canada, and the UK. So for the snack prompt in Epcot, all you need to do is to read a book that's either been translated from one of those native languages, to read a book that is set in one of those countries, or to read a book where the author is from one of those countries, just to make sure that our reading is diverse and you hit one of the pavilions in Epcot to get a snack. Because in Walt Disney World, one of the most fun things to do is go to Epcot and eat around the world and get a snack from every single pavilion. Obviously in this readathon you don't need to do that, you just need to pick one pavilion and eat a snack from it, read a book from that country, whether that's the author from the country, whether it's been translated from that native country's language, or it's set in that country. I hope that makes sense. This is all down below for you guys anyway if you are getting a little bit lost. There's prompts and graphics and maps and all sorts down below in the Google Drive. And then these shows in Epcot, first one is Voices of Liberty, and this is an a cappella group that sing and they are absolutely incredible. So this is to read a book with lyrical writing. The next show is Guardians of the Galaxy. So when the film came out, they did a stage show for Guardians of the Galaxy, and there's just loads of 80s songs in there, and it's a bit like karaoke time. It's actually really, really fun. So for the prompt for this one is to read a book that is set in the 80s, was published in the 80s, or just gives you 80s vibes. And the last show in Epcot is Crush's Talk, and this is very much kind of like a child-friendly show where they can talk to Crush from Nemo and answer questions about the sea and all that sort of stuff. It's actually really, really cute, and it's fun and humorous for adults as well. And this show is for the prompt to read a middle grade. And I can take a breath because those are all the prompts. Yay! Enter prompt page here, just as a little overview for you guys. There are a lot of prompts. I will mention again that you only have to complete one prompt from each category within each park location. Therefore, in Magic Kingdom, you have to do one attraction, one show, one snack. In Epcot, you need to do one attraction, one show, one snack. In Hollywood Studios, you need to do one attraction, one show, and one snack. And in Animal Kingdom, you need to do one show, one attraction, and one snack. So 13 books in total with your park entrance prompt as a book as well. Now, because this is a month-long readathon, I don't want you to spend every single waking minute reading books to do this readathon, because like I said, it's completely up to you how much you want to read, whether you just want to focus on one park, 2 parks, 3 parks, or all 4 parks. That is completely up to you, but it's still quite a lot of reading that I'm kind of asking you to do. So therefore I've created some prompts that are non-reading related, and they just kind of give you a little bit more magic here and there. So I'm just going to run through them. There's only 3, so don't worry, there aren't many, and these are completely optional. You don't need to do them, you don't have to do them. I just thought there'd be a little bit of fun to intersperse them into your reading time. And the first non-bookish prompts that is optional for you to do is to sit back, relax, and enjoy your surroundings. One of my favourite things to do when I was a cast member at Animal Kingdom was to go to work early and just to sit in Animal Kingdom and enjoy the scenery, because Disney do an incredible job at theming their lands, and it's just looking around, you can spot so many things that you wouldn't kind of usually do when you're rushing from ride to ride or grabbing a snack or watching a show. So the prompt is to just sit back, relax, and enjoy your surroundings. And to complete that prompt, all you have to do is to do a form of self-care that isn't reading, whether that's to run yourself a bubble bath, whether that is to watch some booktube, whether that's to watch a Disney film, you know, keep it on keep it on theme, keep it on brand. Whatever you want to do that isn't reading, this is the prompt you need to complete. The next prompt is go and grab a Starbucks drink, because recently Disney did include a Starbucks in every single park location. Therefore, to complete this prompt, you need to go make your favourite drink, whether that's hot or cold, whatever you fancy, and cozy up, curl up, and read a good book. And then the last one, a fan favourite within the Disney community, is to take pictures by Disney's like Instagram walls. There are a lot across the resort, and one of the prompts is to take a Disney Instagram picture, aka you need to take a picture of your TBR for this readathon and share it on social media, and make sure to obviously tag me. My Instagram will be down below. But yeah, those are all the the kind of mini bonus prompts, only 3 of them. If you want to complete them, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's also fine. These are completely optional and just a little bit of fun to sprinkle in a little bit more magic here and there. Now, I feel like a readathon on BookTube isn't complete without live shows. So of course there are going to be live shows and reading sprints. Why wouldn't there be? And I have already booked Friday the 1st of October off, so I can go live from around midday and go on for as long as possible, hosting sprints, hopefully for most of the day on the day of the readathon launch. I am so excited. Live shows haven't been scheduled yet, but they will be, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any live shows and reading sprints that are centered around this readathon. We'll do all sorts. There'll be fun and games in between the reading, but I just wanted a time to kind of celebrate Disney with you guys live, get some reading in, but also do some like Disney trivia, Disney games. It's going to be so much fun, and I'm hoping to do those weekly. Like I said, the schedule isn't out yet, but I do hope to get the schedule up to you before the start of October. But just make sure you're following the Magical Hopathon on Twitter so you can get all the latest updates. And that, guys, that is it. That's my readathon. Should we get Stitch back in for the outro? Come on, Stitch, you can come down with me. Yay! Oh my god, my mouth is dry, guys. I've spoken for about an hour almost. We did it, guys. We announced my readathon. Who's excited? I'm obviously premiering this, so if you're excited, leave Disney style emojis in the comments, or that little thing that comes up at the side. I don't know, I don't do premieres very often, but this one is being premiered. I'm so excited. Are you guys excited? Can you tell I'm excited? Like, my mouth is aching from talking and smiling so much. Disney means so much to me, and to be able to, for my brain to think of this idea and to be able to execute it, I am so proud of myself, but I'm also just so excited to be able to share this all with you, and I literally cannot wait. I really hope I've managed to cover everything in the video, and if I haven't, feel free to comment questions you have down below, and also remember to check out the Google Drive that I have set up that has all the graphics. It will have a map that me and my boyfriend have been working really hard at. We've illustrated it all. We've designed it to help you kind of follow along on the readathon a little bit better as well, so I really hope that comes in aid for you. And also there'll be an entire graphic of all the prompts, so you can tick them off once you go. You can just have them to refer back to when you're planning your TBR. But I do understand this is quite a complex readathon, so if you don't get it, I am here. You can message me on Instagram, you can tweet me at either the Magical Hopathon or RachelCerys_XO, or you can leave comments down below at any questions that you do have or you need answering. Stitch, not gonna lie, you are annoying me, so you can go back up there, but you can still be part of the video. Don't go all grumpy on me. But I will be available to answer any of your questions that you do have, but there is also an FAQ in the graphics as well in that Google Drive, so make sure you check everything out before contacting me. But if you still need questions answering, then I'm here for you. But I think that covers it. I don't want it to end. I really don't want it to end. This has been such a long awaited thing for me to do, and I've finished it. I'm done. That is the Magical Hopathon in probably about a half hour. So if you sat through all of this, props to you. Comment down below whether you are going to participate and which prompts kind of interest you most. Where do you think you're going to start? Are you going to try and do all 4 parks? Which parks are you going to try if you don't want to do all 4 parks? Are you just going to focus on Magic Kingdom? I'm so excited. I already have my TBR planned out. I'm so excited, and obviously as the host I will be trying to do all the prompts across all 4 parks, and I cannot wait. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up, and a thumbs up to say that you are partaking. I would love that. And let me know in the comments down below what you're most excited for. Are you excited for the live shows? Are you excited for the map? Are you excited for the prompts? Which park you're most excited for? Let us have a major Disney chat down below in the comments. And if you want to subscribe so you make sure you don't miss any of the notifications when I go live during the readathon, make sure you're subscribed. But also just subscribe, because I'm going to be making more content throughout the readathon as well. I'm going to be weekly vlogging it, so that's going to be really fun as well. So yeah, without further ado, I will leave you to it. I don't want to go because that means I have to take my mini ears off. Why can't these be normalised in society? Because I would wear these out every single day. Yay. But yeah, anyway guys, make sure you give this video a massive thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys! Let the magic begin! Woo!